He came, they met, and we'll tell you what happened next. After a long time, Xi Jinping and Joe Biden finally came face to face. This was supposed to be an important summit, but the world had low expectations and it ended with no significant outcomes. No big diplomatic breakthroughs. If anything, the summit only reaffirmed their differences. And soon after the talks were over, Biden called Xi Jinping a dictator.
And Mr. President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that you used earlier this year.
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that he is the guy who runs a country that is a communist country that...
The meeting started on a different note, though. Biden was far more friendly around Xi Jinping. The two leaders took a walk together. They shared a joke about this photograph. It was taken more than 30 years ago when Xi Jinping had visited San Francisco. His wife will celebrate her birthday in 4 days, and Biden reminded Xi to get her a card. Later, Xi invited Biden to take a look at his car, and the U.S. president was impressed.
It's a beautiful vehicle. Oh, it's like that Cadillac we have over there. International meetings, they fly those with me. You know what they call that car? They call it the Beast. Thank you.
That took care of the optics. Inside the summit room, they adopted a different tone. Xi and Biden met for about 4 hours. The conversation was said to be candid, especially on the issue of Taiwan. It's the biggest sticking point between them. Xi Jinping told Joe Biden that Taiwan was the biggest and the most dangerous issue. Obviously, he was hinting at the threat of invasion. In recent years, this threat has become more pronounced, mainly due to China's repeated provocations, like the dangerous drills near the island. And President Xi's words have only heightened fears. On multiple occasions, he's told his army to, quote-unquote, prepare for war. So is he preparing to invade Taiwan? He did not give a clear answer to Biden. He said he wants, quote-unquote, peaceful reunification, but would use force under certain conditions. And what are these conditions? Well, neither side bothered to spell it out. It was most likely about America's military support to Taiwan. That's the red line for Beijing. There is a presidential election in Taiwan next year. That too came up for discussion, and Biden told Xi to not interfere. Taiwan, of course, has welcomed this statement. The next big talking point between them was trade. And here, China has a list of complaints. Biden has restricted American investments in China, and Xi Jinping said that they damage Chinese interests. And this was perhaps the most important issue for him because the Chinese economy is not in the best of shape. Growth has slowed. There is widespread unemployment, and the crackdowns are making investors flee. So Xi Jinping needs a lifeline. But did America give it to him? Well, there is no relief on sanctions. They've only decided to expand the dialogue, as they put it.
This morning, President Joe Biden and I agreed to promote dialogue and cooperation based on the principles of mutual respect and diplomacy, trade, people-to-people exchange, education, science and technology, agriculture, military, law enforcement, artificial intelligence, etc. We agreed to make the cooperation list longer and the pie of cooperation bigger.
Xi wants trade. And what's he offering in return? Pandas. They're supposed to be China's token of friendship. The last Chinese pandas in America had a controversial exit. One of them died. Now Xi is offering to send another pair. It makes for a nice token, but it's hardly enough to restore trust. In fact, Joe Biden was asked about it. Listen to his response.
Would you say, Mr. President, that you trust President Xi?
Look, do I trust? I trust but verify, as that old saying goes. That's where I am. And, we're in a competitive relationship, China and the United States.
The lack of trust is apparent, and that reflects in the rest of the outcomes. It was a mixed bag, really. The U.S. and China are resuming military dialogue. Biden said he can now pick up the phone and speak directly to Xi Jinping. Their defense ministers will also hold a meeting, but that may have to wait. It won't happen anytime soon because last month, China sacked its defense minister. They're yet to reveal why. No reason was given for the sacking. Apparently, he was the target of a purge. He is being investigated for corruption and his replacement is yet to be named. So the US will have to wait for that appointment. Now, before Xi Jinping landed in the US, there was talk of a deal on artificial intelligence, but that did not happen. They also discussed the situation in West Asia. Biden expressed concern there is risk of a wider regional conflict. American forces are already under attack in Iraq and Syria. So Biden asked Xi Jinping to speak to Iran, to impress upon the regime in Tehran the risks of a bigger conflict. And Xi Jinping seemed to be willing. Chinese officials say they will engage with Iran. So both China and the US have something to walk away with. Biden gets his hotline with Beijing, and Xi Jinping gets some relief on the economic front. And Biden may have pursued this meeting, but all things considered, it was more important for Xi. You see, the Communist Party draws its power from the economy, and Xi Jinping's erratic moves have caused much damage. So after meeting Biden, he met America's top business leaders, about 300 of them. They attended an event with Xi Jinping. The list included Tim Cook and Elon Musk. And what did the Chinese president tell them? Two things, really. China is a big market and a friend of America. Well, it's a hard sell, but Xi must try to fix what he broke. He got a standing ovation for his speech, but can corporate America rescue his economy and his ties with Washington? We won't put our money on it.